Chapter 2. The First City and the First King. Uruk, c. 3400 BCE. Uruk did not become a city in a single moment. It grew, slowly, relentlessly, like a living thing. Houses multiplied along the riverbanks. Storehouses rose to protect grain from flood and theft. Temples grew taller, wider, heavier, as if stone itself were reaching toward the gods. Paths became streets, streets became districts, and soon thousands of people lived within sight of one another, something humanity had never attempted before. With growth came conflict, land disputes, food shortages, arguments over labor, water, and offerings to the gods. The old councils could no longer manage it all. Too many voices, too many fears. The priests spoke of divine will. The elders spoke of tradition. The people spoke of survival. And increasingly, they spoke of Enmer. He was no longer a boy. His shoulders had broadened, his voice deepened, but his eyes remained unsettlingly calm. He spent his days not in the fields, but near the temple storehouses, counting jars of grain, measuring rations, marking deliveries with small clay tokens. Each token meant something. One cone meant barley, one sphere meant sheep, one cylinder meant labor owed. At first, these were simple memory aids, but Enmer began to press the tokens into soft clay tablets, leaving impressions behind. The priests frowned. Memory belonged to the gods, but Enmer believed memory could belong to humans too. The birth of writing. The first tablet was not poetry, it was not prayer, it was an inventory. How much grain do we have? How much labor is owed? Who must deliver what and when? These questions built cities. Enmer's system spread quickly. Merchants saw its value. Farmers trusted it. Even priests, reluctant as they were, could not deny its power. Soon the symbols became standardized. Cuneiform marks pressed with reeds. Simple, efficient, permanent, cuneiform. For the first time in human history, words could outlive the speaker. Power changed hands the moment writing was born. The elders resisted. This knowledge is dangerous, they warned. Only the gods should remember everything. But the people had tasted order, and they wanted more. When the floods came that year, Uruk did not starve. Grain had been stored, labor had been organized, damage had been predicted. Other settlements noticed. Delegations arrived from Kish, Lagash, and Eridu. They brought gifts, they asked questions, they watched Enmer closely, and so did the priests. The gods demand a king. One night, the high temple of Anu filled with smoke and chanting. The priests claimed the god had spoken, that the chaos of humanity required a single voice, a king. Not a council, not a priest, a king chosen by the gods. The ritual was ancient, but the choice was new. Enmer was summoned before the altar. "You claim knowledge beyond your station," the high priest said. "You bind memory in clay. You count what the gods give freely." Enmer did not bow. "I do not steal from the gods," he replied calmly. "I preserve what they have already given." The temple fell silent. Then the high priest did something unthinkable. He knelt. "The gods have chosen," he said, "and they have chosen you." The first crown. The crown of Uruk was not gold. It was a woven band of reeds and copper, humble, symbolic. When it was placed upon Enmer's head, the people did not cheer. They watched. Because for the first time in history, a human being stood above all others, not as a priest, not as a warrior, but as a king. Enmer did not declare divine blood. He did not claim immortality. Instead, he spoke words that would echo through every civilization to come. "I will rule so the city may endure." Those words became law. The first laws. There were no stone tablets yet, no grand codes, but Enmer ordered laws to be written in clay and displayed publicly. Grain theft would be punished, labor obligations would be recorded. Disputes would be judged by written record, not memory. Justice moved from the mouth to the tablet, and once written, it could no longer be easily changed. The gods had not lost power, but humans had gained structure. A warning from the heavens. On the night of Enmer's coronation, a strange light crossed the sky, a star that did not belong. It burned briefly, then vanished. The priests panicked. An omen. Enmer stood alone on the city wall, watching the rivers below. The dream returned, the ladder between earth and sky. This time, the voice was colder. "Writing binds gods as well as men. Be careful what you preserve." For the first time, Enmer felt fear, because he understood something dangerous. Once knowledge was written, even gods could be remembered, judged, and questioned. Uruk flourished, but far to the north and east, other cities watched with envy. Power had been born, and power never remains uncontested. Babylon was still centuries away, but the path toward it had already been set.